Yeah, welcome to week 10 of the session of doing a landscape in inks. But before we attempt to do this picture here, I just wanted to show you and just remind you of the different types of colours in the ink range that I have here. So obviously we've got we've got yellow, orange, green, blue, and then like a violet colour. You might find that some of your ink caps are quite tight and are very hard to open. One of the ways to combat that is you can either soak the jar in water for an hour or two, which tends to soften the grip. Sometimes if I want to unscrew the cap, I use a pair of pliers where I just literally clamp over and then turn it around like so. And then of course you can just basically unscrew the cap and then put it here. And I tend to like to arrange them in such a way where I've got each of the caps to the corresponding colours so that they don't get mixed up. Do you see what I mean? So the green cap for the green one, blue cap for the blue one, like that. So before we attempt to do any landscape painting in inks, I thought it'd be a good idea just to kind of reiterate how to use inks and how to do some mark making. Considering the main colours in this landscape where you've got blue and green and orange, I'm just going to show you how you can create different effects using blue. So say if I get my I've got fairly different range of brush sizes, but I'm going to start with a large one, okay, like this. Alright, and then I'm just going to basically dip my large brush into the jar like so. And I'm just going to create a few little marks here. Now you'll be able to see that it's actually a very rich dark blue. But if you add some water in a cup or mug or whatever, you can actually just lighten up your colours. Okay, having some newspaper at hand just to dab off the remaining inks, dipping it in the water as you go. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see what it is I'm doing. So I'm just basically just kind of making the colour lighter by just adding water, okay? But with inks, just be careful not to apply too much in one go, because what can happen is it can spread very fast. And it actually dries quite quickly as well. So maybe, for instance, if you're trying to do trees, maybe practice with, you can use the same sort of brush if you want. But it's a good idea to maybe just dib a little bit, just a tiny bit, and just kind of do a few little textural marks. I'm going to go in close now so you can have a look. Literal dabbing effects there. Just kind of rinsing it off before you put it into a different colour. So I'm using yellow now, using some yellow with the green, just to create different tonal effects of a tree bush. Kind of like what's going on in here. Alright, so I'll zoom in a little bit actually. So you can create a lot of nice different effects and mark making with inks, just providing that you don't use too much like I stupidly have. I've actually put quite a lot here and it's collected as a pool of water there, which is what you want to try and avoid. If that happens, you can get a large flat square brush and just literally go over it just to even it out, as if you were doing like a sky, as if you were treating it like watercolour. But you can see already, see if I touch it, it's almost kind of sticky, semi-dry already. It actually doesn't take too long to dry. So I'm just putting my brush in here and I'm just kind of going over. And as you can see, it's very hard to create a softer edge of blending like you can maybe with gouache or watercolour. It dries so fast that it's hard to kind of get rid of any unwanted edges or lines. It literally stains through the fibres of the paper. And sometimes if you go over an area too much, like I just have, you get these little paper fibres, which is what you don't want, especially if you're trying to do a sky. Okay. Another thing is you can use a much smaller brush now. So if I use some brown ink over here, this is the brown one, I'm going to dip it into where I've done making for trees and bushes to create the impression of lots of leaves bunched together. Okay. I must say I kind of miss seeing all of you in your art class there. It's a shame that we have to kind of be contained like this, but at the moment that's how it is, temporarily for now anyway. But if I go in right close, you can kind of see the effect of trees and kind of like the effect of what maybe bushes might look like. So if I go back over here, you're trying to create this type of effect. Once, of course, this area is dry, you can sort of paint over it using, like, say, some green. You can actually paint over that already. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So just have a go and enjoy. All right, and I'll see you all again soon.